Okay, let's continue. Last week we stopped here. Let's create this code. And okay, I'm speaking now. Last time our subject was exception handling. We already gave some examples. We will continue today with exception handling. We will take how to create our exception or through our exception. So we will create the code for this class. I think we already created it. We will write it again. Okay. As you can see here, we check the hour to be from 0 to 23 or less than 24, and the minute between 0 and 60 or between 0 and 59, because we check if it's less than 60. If yes, then we take the minutes. If not, we don't take it. So when you try to print it, it will print 0 if it's error minute or hour, but we don't want it like this. We want to throw exception, so we give message for the user and we stop the progress, because if the time it's not correct, we want to stop it. We don't want to print the time. So we will use keyword through, okay, like this with through any type of exception, new, and you can see that here with thrown the type illegal argument exception. You can throw normal exception, you can throw any type of exception. We give it or we select this time because it's not a correct argument for hour, for minutes, but you can throw any exception. Let's try it. Try this code. So we will create, we are week 5 exception or group 1 exception 1. Okay. So we will create another file for the class time. I will name it like the example time 1. What we have our or a private integer, our private integer minute. I'm doing it quickly because we already did this last time. Yes, I think you remember. Private integer second. Okay, it's compilation error, so the compiler will tell me. And then time okay, we will take. I think we create a method set hour Let me just set. We will create this method. Minute. And set second. So far, all this code, we created it last time. So I will create this 3 methods here. Okay, so we have set our stake our from just to make it faster. So we created this code last time. We have here, what's this one? Who knows? What's this one? Time 1. Constructor. Class constructor. Method that have same name like the class. We use it to set some variables, to do some initial values for the attributes, and to give some initial messages and so on. So here we take our minute second from the user when create the object and give it to set our set minute, set second, because we need some code, not only take the hour. No, we need to check if it's correct hour, take it. If not, we will throw exception. So as I remember last time, we said if hour greater than or equal 0 and hour less than 24, so it's correct. We take it. So we said this what? This object, the object of this class, dot hour equal hour. What's the difference between this hour and this one? Hour without this means the local one, the one that you pass it in the parameter. Hour with this means the hour of the object of the class. Yes? So if it's in correct range between 0 and 23, we take it. If not, we don't do anything. That was what we create last time. But this time, we will do something else. If it's not in the correct range, what's the meaning not in the correct range? Means if hour less than 0 and greater than or equal in 24. So it's what? It's not correct if it's in this range. If it's in this range, I will what? Through a new exception. Let's see what exceptions we have. This is all the choices. To bring the choices in NetBeans, control space will give you all the choices. As you can see, we have many type of exceptions. Okay, you can use the normal exception directly. We will use this one, illegal argument exception. Usually in the exam, we bring something like this and we told you to throw exception or illegal argument exception. Okay, so if we did not mention the type of the exception, it's up to you. You can throw the normal exception or illegal argument exception. But if we mention illegal argument exception, you have to throw illegal argument exception. Okay. We can throw it without any message like this, or we can give specific message. For example, wrong hour. Yeah. Okay, so we throw the exception if an not error here. Here we force the system to stop and throw exception. We force the system. We check the range here. If hour less than 0, you hear about -1 hour or -2 hour, or equal 24 and more. You heard about hour 24. There is no 24. It's 0, 1, 2, 3 until 23. 24 means 0 again. Okay, so it's from 0 to 23. If it's equal or more 24, then wrong hour data. If it's less than 0, then wrong hour data. Okay. Do we need else for this if statement to take the hours? No. Why? Look, in this method, set hour, okay, or in any method that through exception, it's stop the execution of the code. So when we throw exception, we will not take this dot hour equal hour. So we don't need else. If we did not throw the exception, then we will reach this line. This line is outside the if statement, yes? So if we throw the exception, there is error. We will not take the hour. If we did not throw the exception, then no error, and we will take the hour from the passing parameter to hours here. Okay. So same code here. Let me just copy here, but for minutes this time. So if minute less than 0, there is no -1 minute, yes, or greater than or equal 60, because minutes in any watch, it's 0, 1, 2 until 59. 60, it's not in the correct range, because 60 means the next hour, yes, so it becomes 0, yes, wrong. Minute, and we want to take dot minute and minute, and I forget this one. Okay, same issue for second. Seconds also from 0 to 60, yes, or to 59. Okay, so using the constructor, we take the hour, minute, second, then we pass hour for set hour, minute for set minute method, second for set second method. What's the job for set hour method, for example? It takes the hour and checks the hour. If it's less than 0 or greater than 24, greater than or equal, then we throw a new illegal argument exception. It's type of exception, yes. We usually, if we have more than one exception in the same place, we give everyone different name because we can catch all the exception in one try. So we have to differentiate every one. Okay, so wrong our data here if it's in the wrong range, else we take the hour from the passing value to the hour of the time class. Okay, what else? We want to print the time. To print the time, I will use toString method. toString method. You remember what's this method doing? Thank you. Okay, you remember toString method? What toString method doing? Okay, when we print the object, it will print the string that we will return from toString method. So, toString method, it's a method that when we print the object of the class, I give it to you or not. I'm sure I give it to you. Let me close this part. toString method. For example, we have time class, yes? This one, we create it. Let's create object from it in our main method. Okay, we will set time1. Okay, this class, this object equal new time1. Then we give the passing parameter for the object or for the constructor. So, for example, 23, 55, and 56. Okay. So, if we said print T1, we print the object. What will happen? Java will call method toString. What's the method toString? It will return a string that will be printed when we print the object. So now we don't have toString method here. I closed the code here. Yes, we don't have it. So Java will call the default toString method. When we print the object, what I'm printing here? T1. What is T1? It's object from the class time1. Yes? So when we print, as you can see here, what is print? time1 at, then this is the memory address of the object T1. Why? Because we don't have toString. So from where this data come? It's come from a method toString, the default method from Java. Default method from Java toString, it's return the content of the object, which is address. Actually, what is T1? Object. What is the object? It's reference address to memory, yes? So it's print its content, which is address in the memory, yes? So when we print the object, Java will call a method, its name toString. If we don't have it, it will call the default toString method. If we have it, I'm sure I told you about toString method. Okay, so we have now toString method. We create toString method. Any string we will return from here will be printed when we print the object. So again, now we print the object. We have our toString method. It's return hello. So as you can see, the code will print hello. We print what? The object is print hello. From where does this hello come? It's come from toString method. So when we print the object of the class, T1 is the object of the class, directly Java will call what? toString method. We have toString method, yes. It's return hello, so it will print hello. toString method must be public, okay, and return string value. Why it must be public? We mentioned it also last time. We said because we do something called overriding. When you create method same as default method, we do something called overriding. So we have in Java toString method. We create same method, so we override Java. What's the meaning override? Means cover the effect, take the effect of toString of Java, and we use our toString. When you override method, you should use not public. You should use access modifier, same level as the original one or wider. What do you mean by wider? We mean by wider, okay, public it's the wider access. It's allowed anywhere, any Java program to reach this place, to reach this class, to reach this method, yes? So it have wide access. Then, what less access? Default. Okay, it's have less access. It's allow you to access this code only inside the package itself. Yes. And then private. Actually, you cannot override private because you cannot reach it. But there is another one called what? Protected. Okay, protected less than default or wider than default. So the main issue, public and default. If the original method public, you cannot go down and make it default. So the original toString actually public. When you override it, when you create methods same as the original one in Java, means override it, you cannot make it default because you cannot go from wider access to more narrow access or less access. So that's why it must be public. If the original one default, you can make it default or public. You can go from less access to wider access. This means if you override a method and it was default, you can make it public or default. If it was public, you cannot make it default. You must keep it public. Okay, if I remove here public, we will have error directly. Why we have error? Let's read what's the error here. ToString in time one cannot override ToString in object, means in object is father for all Java classes. So anything inside the class object, it's available for us. We name it default, okay? So default ToString that come from object class, we override it. What's the meaning override? We create same method inside time1, attempting to assign weaker access, weaker access privilege. So you try to make it default, but the original one was public. You cannot do it. So if the original one public, you must use public. If the original one default, you can use default, you can use public. So you can go for wider, but you cannot make it less. Okay. What I need from ToString method, I want to print the time. So we can print the time like this. We can print hour. Okay. Then 2 dots here. Then, of course, it's a string, so you need to connect the strings using plus, like in the printing, yes? Just connect the strings together. Plus minute, then plus, okay, not this one, plus seconds. Okay, so I forget something. Plus, plus, plus. Okay. Every part you have to connect it with the other part using plus. So what we return here, hour, 2 dot minute or colon, okay, colon seconds. So let's try to print now the time. So as you can see, it's a 23, 55, 56. Okay, what if exception happened? So I need to catch the exception. We throw exception here, yes? We throw exception, we throw exception. So 25, what will happen now? The system will 25, we checked it. We have to catch this exception. Okay. So now we will put this inside try. Then to catch the error message, the exception. Catch. You can use illegal argument exception, or you can use exception directly. Okay. Exception E. What message I will print? We need to. So what does this mean? This means try this code. If exception happened, throw the exception to the catch. In the catch, we will print the error message. Is it error hour or error minute or error second? It depends on the exception. What exception thrown? Yes. So what I will do, I will set e dot get message. What this method? It brings the message from the exception. Where is the message? We write it when we throw every exception. Okay. So now again, seems we don't check it correctly. If our listen, oh, I write and. This time it should be or. Yes. If the time not correct here or not correct here. It was and when we just see the correct one. Now when we see the wrong, it must be and. Which one in the keyboard? It's a Turkish keyboard here, so I don't know where is it exactly. Should be here, I think. Where's that one? The arrow. Or in the keyboard, in the Turkish keyboard. I cannot see it. I need this line.
Şurada gözüküyor da nasıl bilmiyorum.
Okay, here. I could not see it. Okay, so now what it write for us? Wrong our y because it's 25. If we don't have the exception, the try catch, what will happen? Okay, let me just close the code. So we threw the exception, but we did not catch the exception. So it's like division by zero, like anything like this. So build failure. That's why we need what? To catch the exception. Here we create the exception and we need to catch the exception. Okay, so again, shortly, we throw illegal argument exception with a specific message. So we check the range. If it's wrong range, we tell the user and we stop it. Okay, so if this one correct range, this one in the wrong range, it will tell us that it's wrong minute and so on. I think that was from the previous one. Let's see another issue in Java. When we throw the exception, like what we did here, through the exception from a method, we throw exception here, or we have exception here. We throw it's same like we have division by zero or something, or we throw the exception in a specific method. What will happen? Look here, set hour, we call it from time one, yes? We call it here. So when we throw the exception here, set hour will send the exception to time one, because time one call set hour. Time one have a try catch. If it have a try catch, it will handle the exception. If it's not having a try catch, it will send the exception to whom? To any method called time1. Where is the method that called time1? The main method. So set our, it's not giving the exception directly for the main method. It gives the exception for any method call it. So where we call it from time1. So it gives the exception to time1. Time1 have a try catch, will handle the exception. If it's not having try catch, then it will send it to whom? To any other method calling it. Where we call time1 here in the main method. So it sends the exception to the main. Main have try catch, so the main method will handle the exception, makes the try catch. Here, look here. We have main method. This main method call a method B, okay? And method B calls a method N, as you can see here, and N call method M. So if you look in the M method, we have integer data 50 divided by 0. What's the problem here? We have error, exception, yes? So inside M1, we have what? Exception. We don't have try catch in M1. So what will happen? It will send the exception or throw the exception to the parent method, what I call M. So as you can see here, let me change the color only. As you can see here, M1 do not have handling try catch, do not handle the exceptions, so it will throw the exception to N. Why? Because N call the method M. Okay, if N have try catch, it will handle the exception. If not, it will throw the exception to B. B now have a try catch, so B will handle the exception. If not, if B don't handle the exception, then B will send the exception to the main method. If the main method handles the exception, enough. If not, error message will, or the system will crash. Let's try this code quickly. I don't care about the names here. Just I will create some methods. For example, just void A. Okay. Not here in the class. Why it's outside the class? Void B. Void C. Okay, we have here C will call method B. Okay, B will call method A, and A, it's doing integer x equal 5 divided by 0. Okay, I want to call this method C inside the main method. What time we should finish? Let me calculate. 40, 50, 9:30 should be, yes. Okay, so how to call method C here? Like this. Why it's error? I mentioned it before. Who know why? Look, it's in the same class. Here, we are in this class. Okay, here's the beginning of the class, the end of the class. Main method in the same class, but we cannot call method C from it. Why? I remember I draw it there. Main method, it's static. Static, it's mean it will be stored in the class. And C method, it's non-static, yes? It's belong to the object, so it will be inside the object. So how come method static reach method non-static? Cannot reach it. So main method, it's static, cannot use method C directly. What do you mean by directly? It's belong to the object. So we have to create object first. This is the class name. You can create object from the class in the same class, yes. So in the main method, we create object from the class. For example, O1 equal new. This is the name of the class. Doesn't matter the name for us. So now we can say object1 dot C. Now it's not error. So we can reach non-static method from the static method if we use the object of the non-static method. Directly, we cannot reach it, even if they are in the same class. Static method cannot reach non-static method directly. Okay? Okay. What will happen if I run this code? Crash. Why it's a crash? Because here I have division by 0. Okay. Try. Catch. Exception E. S out. E dot get message. What I'm doing now, I put this one, division by 0 inside, try, catch. So now focus here. The main, it's calling C, C call B, B call A, and A have try catch. So A will do the try catch and give us the message of the exception. Okay. What if A don't have exception? We call A from here, B, yes? So we can put A inside the try catch. In the first place, A manage the exception. Now we don't have exception handling or manage the exception inside A. What will happen if I run this code? It builds successfully, division by 0. What will happen? Exactly, A have exception. Now A do not have try catch. So what we'll do, throw the exception to any method, call it. So we call it from here. So A throws the exception here. Here we have a try catch, yes? So we handle the exception and get the message. Okay. Again, if B also don't have a try catch, and we put the try catch here, what will happen? Now A don't have try catch, so exception happened. It will throw the exception to B. B don't have try catch, so it will throw the exception for C. C have try catch, so it will handle the exception. Oh, what the error? Three errors. I think should be no error. Let me just. There's no error, should be. Try, catch, what's happening? I think we missed something. Try. Maybe this one, it's closed here, this one, it's closed here, this int, this int should be okay. I think I missed one of the bracts. Yes, I forget to close something only. Okay, so it's catch it here in C. Okay, if I don't have it in C, also I can manage it here. Try. Catch. So what this mean? This mean the place that have exception, if it's do not have exception handling, it will throw the exception in the place that you call this method. If the other method have exception handling, it will handle it. If not, it will throw it to the parent, to the parent, to the parent, until one in any level have exception handling, it will handle the exception. Not directly, this will stop you and set the exception and crash the system. No, it will throw the exception to the parent. Okay? That's what we mean here. Here another example. I don't want to write it there. Let's take it directly because we are very late. Okay, in this example, we have more than one catch. In one try, we could have more than one catch. Why? Imagine it. In one block of code, could be more than one exception. Okay, could be a type mismatch exception, means you enter wrong data type. When you read integer, you enter string, for example. You could throw exception. There's many exception, division by 0. All this could happen at the same place. So if you have more than one exception inside You have 2, 3, 4 exception inside one try. If you make one catch will catch only one exception, but you need to catch all the exceptions. So look to this code. We create object from scanner, then we scan data using next integer. This method actually throw exception, its name input mismatch exception. If the enter data not integer, it will throw this exception. Okay, so we have one exception. This one first exception. Here we check the number that we take it from the user. If the number greater than 100, we throw exception. We give a message out of range, out of bound. Okay, so this message we throw exception. So this exception too, we have 2 exceptions here. So if we have 2 exceptions, we will have for one try could have more than one catch. We have 1, 2 catch. How many catch here we have? 2 catch because we have 2 exception. First catch, input mismatch exception, it takes the exception from this one. And here, exception E, it takes the exception from our exception. We throw the exception. Let me just try to use the code. Is it possible to copy it? Okay, I will copy it. I don't want to waste time, and I will use it here. Okay, scanner, we have to add it. So here we create scanner. We need here to import this exception. So just create a scanner, then we read data from the user. We check if the data greater than 100, then we throw exception with this message. Also, next integer from the scanner, throw exception, its name integer or input mismatch exception. So if the input not integer, we will print this message using this catch. So how many catch? As you can see here, we have, let me just organize it a little bit. This catch, this another catch, and this finally, we usually have finally. So if type mismatch thrown by next integer, we will print this message. If this normal exception, as you can see, I click here directly, let's show you that this exception from here, throw new exception out of one. Let's try this code. We read data. If you give, not here, here. If you give string, but we read what here? Integer. So not an integer. From where it's come? Because we give incorrect type. Okay. Again, we give integer, but we give 300. It's also out of bound. Why? Because we throw exception if it's greater than 100. Okay, clear? We can throw more than one exception. Every exception need a catch. So one try could have more than one catch. Okay, I will open the attendance for you.
Or not.
We not write what?
If you write to catch, but we run for new expectations.
Here, this to catch, this catch for this exception. This catch for exception, not we write this exception. It's here in this method. Next method. Let me show. We would like to see the code inside it. I think we can open it from here. Dot. Next. Okay. The screen, it's okay. As you can see here, the problem is written. You can focus here. Okay, this is the data about next integer method. Okay, next integer method, it's return integer that is scanned from the input. It's a throw in mismatch exception if the next token does not match integer. It's a throw also another exception, no such element exception if input is just state illegal state exception if this scanner is closed. We did not take this one. We have this one. We just want to be sure it's integer. If it's not integer, we will catch this exception. So who throws this exception? It's inside this method. Next integer method. It's method function inside the scanner. Okay. Okay. Now let's move this our original subject. We mentioned some of this, but let's mention it again. And let me open the attendance for you. Where is it? Okay. So, object oriented. The code is 2, 7, 8, 8, 6. Okay, have you finished? Finished? Okay. Finished? Or you waiting okay from your friend or what? You finished? 37, 38, and it's still counting. You share it with your friends. Okay. Attendance. Okay, I will open it again. You finish? Everyone, done? Hmm? Okay, one. Finish? Okay. 1, 2, 3. What? Not wrong. Try again. Finish? What's your name?
Ibrahim.
Spell it. I-E. P. It's not here. I-E. P or B? What's your student number? Last 4 digits. Your student number, last 4 digits.
50.
Okay. There's no attendance. Okay, I will do it for you. Okay, and error occurred. Oops, what happened? Let's close the attendance. 50, 66. Okay, it's okay now. Okay, look, here, this subject, nested class, we will not take it. So it's not in our course, it's not in the exam. So we will take, or we will speak about static keyword and enumeration type. I think static keyword, we already mentioned it before. Yes, we will mention it again. So a static keyword, shortly, it's a modifier, but it's public, default, private. All this modifier, we called it access modifier. Yes, it's give us what's the access level for the class or for the method or for the variables, the attribute. But the static, it's non-access modifier. It's not about what level or from where you can access this method or variable. it's about memory management. Why it's about memory management? Because access keyword, it makes the method or the variable belong to the class, not the object of the class. What do you mean? What's the difference between the class and the object of the class? There is a big difference in the memory. Okay, so let me draw it for you. We will use, okay. Okay, this is another issue. Okay, if we imagine the memory, we said in Java we have heap. Okay. For example, this heap for class X. And we created objects from class X. Objects X1 and X2. So every object have place in the memory. So X1 pointed to it's a place in the memory, X2 pointed to it's a place in the memory. If we have like this class X, then we have, for example, integer A, integer B, static integer C. Okay. And in the main class main, for example, we have the main method public static void blah 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 main with parameters, and inside it we create objects from the class X1 and X2. How it looks in the moment. Okay, so we will create object from class X. So X, let me just use another color for the object. Oh, what I did. X1 equal new X. X2 equal new X. Okay, how it looks in the memory. X1, we create object from it, X1. So X1 in the memory, it have A, yes, and it have B. It have C, yes? No. This one, not here. Why not here? Because C is static. If the attribute or the method is static, it's not belong to the object. It's not belong to the object means it's not in the memory of the object. It's not in the heap of the object. So it's not here. Cannot be here. Where we will put it? Here. It's belong to the memory of the class. So C belong to the class, not the object. Okay. So here we have also A. We have also B. So AB, it's belong to X1. AB here, it's belong to X2. But C, it's static. It's belong to the class. Belong to the class means its value shared for everyone or every object of the class. So if inside a method here we change C, it will be changed here. Also, from inside X1, inside X2, from inside the main, you can change it here. So here we can say X1 dot A equal 5. So what we did, we changed X1A to 5. What about C? C, we can reach it directly using the class name. So X, which is the class, dot C. Why? Because it's belong to the C. Sorry, to the class. So X, it's the class, dot C equal 10, for example. So its value 10. So we can imagine it in the memory like this. Okay, let's continue. This code is very similar to what I did. Why we use it? We use it for the constant variable. Imagine you have constant variable. Constant, what's the meaning of constant? Its value, it's not changeable. If you have constant value and you have object X1, object X2, object X3, and we have same constant value, for example, C equal 3 here. So C equal 3, it's here and it's here. Why to keep all these copies from it? It's constant. So if it's constant, we need to keep only one copy. Where's the place that have one copy? Only the class, yes? So all these objects belong to the class. So we can have C equal 3 belong to the class. So instead of repeating the constant value, we keep only one copy. Why one copy? Because all these values are shared. So we have object A, this object A, we have object B, and this Z, it's static. So it's belong to the class outside, but we can reach it from object A and from object B. But in the memory, it's belong to whom? It's belong to the class. So we keep one copy from it. Even if we have 100 objects, we have only one copy from the static, the copy that inside the class. Also, if we have a value that have only one value, like we have information about employees, and we have, for example, name of the company. All the employees belong to this company, so why to make it as a variable? We can make it as a static value. Also for counters. What do you mean for counters? Let's check this code. I will create a new code here. This week 5 group 1 static. Okay, we have class X, integer A, integer, oh, sorry, integer A, integer B, static, integer C. And we have constructor. I prefer row. Okay, we take A and B from outside, and we will create objects. For example, X1 equal new X, example 5 and 10, doesn't matter. X2, X3, 15, for example, 55, 12, 11. Okay, how to count how many objects we have? How to make your code count how many objects you created? Let's create, when we create object, what we call the constructor, yes? So we will make the constructor count how many objects we have. So let's create counter, yes? Integer count. Then every time we create object, we make this counter increase by 1. Yes? So now after finish, let's print the counter. We created 3 objects, yes? So every time we create object, we use the constructor. In the constructor, we increase the counter by 1. Don't take screenshot now. It's not a correct code. It's still, wait, I will tell you. It's not the correct one. Let's print the counter. Count, of course, to print count, we have to use object, yes? Because count, it's normal variable, so it's belong to the object. We cannot reach it directly. We can say x1 dot count. What's the output? The output 1. Because it's the first object, yes? So it should be x3, yes? Dot count. Here, increase by 1, increase by 1, increase by 1, yes? So what's the output? 3? No, it's also 1. Who knows why it's 1? Let's return to our code. Here, we said same code, we just increase here integer count, yes? I think count, I name it something like this. Count, okay. This one, normal integer, yes? So belong to whom? Belong to the object here. So we have here. Yes? So let's see the values. What we said here, x1 equal new x. And here in the code, we have the constructor. Let me just write the constructor. Constructor x. Okay. We take A. We take B. Then we said what inside the code? Count. Just I will take count. Plus plus. Yes? This is a part of the code. So when we call the constructor here, what happened? We call this constructor. The constructor is increase count by 1. The default value is 0. We increase it by 1. It belongs to whom? x1. So x1 dot count, it's become 1. Okay. Now we said x2 and we call the constructor. The constructor increase count by 1. Which count? Count of x2. x2 dot count, it's still 0, yes? We increase it by 1. So it's become 1. Also for x3, if we have the memory of x3, we have count. When we create, okay, x3 in new x, it will call the constructor of x3 and it will increase count from 0 to 1. Why? Because every object have its own value for count. It's different value. Okay. What will happen if we make count static? Now, if it's static, it doesn't matter I use which object, or I can use also the class name directly to reach it. What's the output now? 3. Why is the output 3? Let's see the code here. So, just 2 minutes. Okay, we will finish this code and you can leave. Let me use. I will finish it quickly, inshallah. Okay, now shortly, when this one becomes static, hello, 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 focus, hello, 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 where are you going? Where are you going? What do you have now?
Plus.
Okay, we are in class. You cannot see all this?
You begin early today.
Okay, goodbye. Wait outside. Your class start 9:40. My class did not finish yet. What's this? لا إله إلا الله. So, static. Okay, let's finish quickly. Where is it? So when we put the static here, now count becomes static. It's not here. Now count here belong to the class. So when we call this constructor, it's increase count. So count 0, it's become 1. We call another constructor, it's increase count. Which count? This one, because it's a static, it's belong now to the class, not every object. So it's still have 1. So it's now become 2. Another object, it's become 3. Why? Because it's now belong to the class, not every object have its own data. Okay? Inshallah, next time we will continue.